Hi, Pamela from CopyTrekker here. In the last two videos, we covered the voices of authority and the voices of accessibility. Today, we're going to cover the final three voices, which are the voices of Outlook. As a reminder, I learned about these voices from Justin Blackman and Abby Woodcock's book, What They Hear When You Write. Now, the voices of Outlook reflect the author's view of the world. This is the underdog, the anti-establishment, and the eternal optimist. We all know an underdog when we see them. They're often fighting an uphill battle. They're the David, not the Goliath. I prefer to call this voice the proactivist voice because they're fighting for something that's bigger than themselves. So let's look at the email example. This voice acknowledges its shortcomings. It's not the biggest, it's not the highest, and it's not the cheapest. But it does leverage some of the underdog things, like being a homegrown and family-owned company. This voice uses the story of how the course almost didn't exist. It overcame some odds and had some obstacles that it had to jump over. The voice used testimonials, which allowed the customers to sing its praises, because the underdog is typically too humble to say directly how awesome it is. Again, the safety part is mentioned, and this time it's fairly casual. It's still required, but it's not a stern declaration like we had with, say, the voice of God. Now, over here, we have the anti-establishment voice, and it's the opposite of the underdog. I call this one the anti-activist because they're fighting against something. So we had the pro-activist with the underdog, and now we have the anti-activist with the anti-establishment voice. Now, if you recall, the underdog was fighting for something. Where the underdog is humble and hopeful, the voice of the anti-activist tends to be critical and dissatisfied with the way things are. You can see that in our email, as this one criticizes the competition. It calls them a joke, and it says it's a snooze fest. It clearly states, we're not that. Sky High Retreat is for real adventurers who want to challenge their limits, not their patience. It spells out who they are for and who they're not for. They are definitely not for mommy and me groups. The voice is abrasive, and this tone might put some people off, but yet it's super appealing to the right target audience. You'll notice this voice does not skirt around the safety issue. We know exactly how it feels about it with this line. As much as we'd like to let you loose right away, our overbearing insurance company insists on a mandatory safety briefing and harness fitting. The voice does soften slightly here, and if I'm honest, it makes me feel better. But it comes in loud and clear one more time with, and I don't want to get sued. And finally, over here, we have the eternal optimist voice, or happy camper in CopyTrekker speak. As you can imagine, this voice is upbeat and happy. Where the other voices might have come with warnings, this email promises fun and challenges and thrills across all three levels. The safety portion is also softened here. We provide everything, and we're nearby with words of encouragement to ensure a safe and exhilarating experience. And that's a wrap on this project. I hope it gives you a better understanding of the 9 different voice types. If you're curious about your own voice, head on over to copytrekker.com/voicefinder to learn more about my one-on-one brand voice finding sessions. So let's fine-tune your vibe, and thank you for watching.